Your vision is calling you, and it's not waiting any longer. The doors to mastery and momentum are closing soon, and this is your last chance to step into the transformational coaching, curriculum, and community you need to bring this next iteration of your purpose to life. This is not the time to wait. This is the time to double down on that ignited, aligned vision God put on your heart. If you've been sitting on something big, something that's been pulling at your heart, the time to act is now. Mastery Momentum is not just another program. This is a proven blueprint for high-level performers who are ready to take their purpose and thought leadership to the next level. When you apply and get approved, you'll get access to personalized one-on-one coaching to fast-track your transformation, exclusive curriculum that I have not taught anywhere else, not even here on the podcast. You get a supportive community, a wisdom circle of like-hearted women who will challenge and cheer you on. And you get access to powerful resources, all of my signature courses, Pillar Mastery, Purpose to Platform, and Command the Stage, all included. And let's not even get into our 5-day retreat, July 2025 in Hawaii. Don't let another season pass you by. The window to apply is closing. We have a few seats left, and you won't want to miss the chance to create this next level future you deserve. Remember, your vision is not void, and your purpose is not postponed, no matter what's going on in the world right now. Apply now, and let's make this happen together. Masteryandmomentum.com has all the information. That's masteryandmomentum.com. When we're not willing to assert our preferences, but instead defer to others out of fear or indecision or some desire to avoid conflict, whatever works for you says is, I lack agency in my own life. I'm Patrice Washington, and this is the Redefining Wealth podcast, where authenticity leads to alignment and abundance. Join us each week as we peel back the layers on what wealth truly means and dive into conversations that inspire, connect, and empower you to live your richest life. Get ready to challenge the status quo. It's time to redefine wealth for yourself. You're listening to the Redefining Wealth podcast with Patrice Washington. And if you're brand new here, you should know that this is the place that you come to each and every week to learn more about what it means to chase purpose, not money. And oh my goodness, is that a journey? It is a journey to be someone who wants to be fully aligned with your purpose and not be someone who feels like every decision they make has to be just about how much money it leads to. Because in reality, it actually leads to less because you're acting from desperation. But anywho, whole nother story. If you're a purpose chaser, an OG listener, welcome back. And if you're brand new here, you're going to learn about the first pillar of redefining wealth today, which is the fit pillar. Now, we have 6 pillars of wealth. I want to invite you to go check those out at patricewashington.com/start here. I would love for you to take the Redefining Wealth quiz because we have 6 pillars of wealth. And what you're going to discover is which one of those pillars might be impacting your finances right now in this moment, even when you're not thinking about it. Now, I get messages sometimes from people and they go, Patrice, I think that this is off because I have wonderful family relationships. And then I have to remind them the people pillar is not just about your family relationships. It's also about professional relationships. So it's a really great tool, but if you ever want to go deeper, come in closer, join me in the Institute for Redefining Wealth, where you can really get my support, coaching, curriculum, powerful, authentic alignment tools, and all that good stuff to support you on your journey of redefining wealth. Plus, you get access to some of my top tier programs like Pillar Mastery and Purpose to Platform. So we know that wealth is about personal transformation and purpose acceleration. And that's what we do in the Institute for Redefining Wealth. You can click the link in the show notes or go to redefiningwealth.institute to find out more. All right, here's what we're talking about today. It's the first pillar, fit pillar, becoming your best self. And it's not just about being physically well. It's about being mentally fit for this journey. And, it's the end of the year. It's that natural time for reflection and recalibrating and thinking about how this year went. And for me, I know that words are powerful. I talk about this all the time. What we verbalize is what we magnify and magnetize in our lives. Words have power. And yet we hear that, we know that, but so many of us, self included, get stuck in these loops of just saying things without really examining what we're saying and therefore what we are creating and manifesting in our own lives. And I caught myself really, I would say this last quarter, like these last few months, saying certain things. And I've been jotting it down and working with my therapist on it and reflecting on it, praying about it. And I had some really great revelation that I wanted to share with you. So after the affirmation of the week, let's dive into 3 subtle self-sabotaging phrases I'm leaving in 2024. This week's affirmation is, I magnetize what I verbalize. I release all patterns of self-sabotage, knowing that I am worthy of success and abundance in every area of my life. I recognize the power of my words, and I choose to speak with intention, clarity, conviction, and confidence. Every thought I think and every word I speak aligns with my highest vision and purpose. I trust that my actions are in harmony with my desires, and I move forward with a sense of peace, ease, and grace. I magnetize the success and support that I verbalize, and I attract everything that I need to manifest my dreams. Declare with me today, I magnetize what I verbalize. Okay, so before I share my phrases, let me say this. What I have learned is that many of us are programmed for default thinking. We have been ingrained with patterns that we just follow from past programming. Even as children, or as children, I should say, we start to adopt things that are taught to us, and we don't question, we don't reflect on it often, we don't re-examine, we just kind of go with it. And then as we grow and mature, those same phrases just evolve. I heard this years ago. Someone said, the best thing about childhood is that it's over. And we have an opportunity to unlearn and reframe and reprogram our thoughts. No matter how long we've been thinking them, no matter how long we've been saying certain things, we have an opportunity to undo this. Now, many of us don't even realize that we're doing it. It's so sneaky. That's the thing about self-sabotage. We all do it. It's very sneaky. It's very subtle. And most of the time, it's just disguised as something harmless. We get so used to just throwing things out there. But the reality is, self-sabotage is the act of preventing or undermining your own success or growth. You think you're just saying something, but because words are powerful, you keep planting seeds that become a self-fulfilling prophecy. I keep planting seeds that become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And for many of us who may have experienced some level of emotional, psychological, mental hidden abuse in our backstory, we're saying things on autopilot and don't even realize it. As a matter of fact, for me, it's my current relationship that has illuminated for me how I can use certain words and certain phrases and think that I'm just like, you know, what's the term? That, I'm just talking. I'm just like being agreeable, and realize that I'm actually self-sabotaging, and it's really rooted in trauma. It's really trauma response, a triggered thing. It's not even because it's what I genuinely want. And it's so common. And I think if you're listening to this, you know that there's been a time where you may say you want to do one thing, but then you hear yourself make plans or make an agreement to go do something completely different. You hear yourself like saying, oh, I want to eat sushi. And then someone suggests steak if you're a steak eater. And you're like, I guess so. And you go down that line, and it's not anything wrong with it. But here's the quote that I love from Kipling Williams. Words are free. It's how you use them that may cost you. And sometimes we're so willing to throw words out there, throw phrases out there, throw sentences out there, and not realize that internal damage that we are doing and how much it's really costing us in terms of time, energy, intimacy, true authenticity, getting to the vision that we desire sooner, quicker, faster, building solid connection and relationships. It's doing a lot of damage. And so I want to share with you the three that I realized don't work for me anymore. And I'm leaving them in 2024. Definitely doing my best to. I'm grateful for the awareness. And now it's time to actualize. But here are my three. The first one is, I guess it's okay. Ooh, ain't that subtle? How many times have you said, I guess it's okay? When you say, I guess it's okay, how often, if you're honest, are you saying that while knowing you're denying your own true feelings or desires? If the word I guess is in it, you know good and heck well that you don't really like it or don't really want it. That's why you're guessing instead of speaking with confidence and conviction. I guess it's okay. It's almost passive aggressive too, because if you say, I guess it's okay, you really want the other person to ask you a clarifying question or a follow-up question. And then your butt hurt when they don't, and they go along with whatever path they were on that you just agreed to come along on. When we say, I guess it's okay, we're lowering our standards and settling for something less than what we truly want. I realize for me that it is a signal, especially professionally, that I'm not standing up for what I need, desire, or require. And this has shown up a lot for me with team members. Stating what I desire and then getting a half-assed lukewarm version of it, and then me trying to make good with what I received by saying, I guess it's okay because now it's go time. Now we're in a crunch. Now I have other things to do. Now my plate is full. Now I have too much going on to go back and forth. This is how I felt. But by dismissing what I really want or need, I'm setting myself up to fund frustration. I'm setting myself up to accept mediocrity instead of pursuing what truly aligns with the vision or goal that I had for the project. One of my really good friends, Doreen Rainey, is obsessed with Beyonce. When we were in France for the Formation World Tour, this is, I think, back in like 2018 or something like that, we actually stalked Beyonce, Jay-Z, Mama Knowles outside of a restaurant. It was so funny. I have such great stories and videos about this. We ran into Aloe Black, another big artist that I went to college with. It was just such a vibe. But anyway, so back then I remember seeing an interview of Beyonce talking about the Formation World Tour. And she said that she was involved in every detail, from the music arrangements to the choreography to the lighting, the design, and that she made sure that her team worked around the clock to ensure everything met her high standards. Her exact quote, I've spent so many hours working on everything. It's so important that every single detail is thought through and that everything works together. I want the fans to experience something they haven't seen before, right? And I thought about how many times I have such a laser focused vision. Steve Harvey taught me years ago, dreaming is free. Dream big, dream in color. There's no budget. Dream it up. And how many times I have envisioned something for a program, for a product, for a service, for something that I wanted to do. And because I kept using the term, I guess it's okay, I allowed other people's lack of follow through, me saying, I guess it's okay, to allow their lack of follow through to be acceptable when it actually wasn't. When we didn't hit the mark, we didn't hit the target, we didn't hit the goal. And while I do believe in sloppy progress, I also realize that I guess it's okay has been rooted in me wanting to appear as nice. I am kind. I don't need to be nice. Now, my delivery is nice. My delivery, like I'm not a mean person. I'm not a mean-spirited person. I'm not aggressive, like all those things. However, if my desire is to be more attentive, to be Beyonce-like in the world of redefining wealth, I have to demand more because I understand that by not doing so, I'm denying myself of the fullness of what I came to this earth to create. There is no vision that God has given me that I cannot have. But if I don't hold myself to the standard via holding other people to the standard, I will never be able to see it, possess it, walk in it, enjoy it, love it, feel it. Do my clients get great results? Yes. Do I want them to, as Beyonce said, have an experience like nothing they've seen before? That's what I want. And I don't think it's unfair to hold myself to and therefore hold other people to. So in 2024, I'm rereading 10X is Easier Than 2X by one of my faves, Dr. Benjamin Hardy. And in my business, we will do less in order to do those fewer things much better so that I can continue to eradicate, I guess it's okay, from my vocabulary. Here's the second one. Don't worry about it. Oh, God. A close favorite, a close cousin of I guess it's okay. Don't worry about it. Saying don't worry about it. Another way that we dismiss our own needs or desires to avoid confrontation, to make other people feel better. And it seems like it's a kind gesture, but I'm realizing more and more it is a form of self-neglect because you keep suppressing your own feelings, your boundaries, your governing decisions, and you allow other people's feelings, boundaries, and governing decisions to take precedence over your own. For those of us who are recovering people pleasers, that is a drain on your energy. And all it does is promote resentment and encourage burnout. So moving into 2025, no, worry about it. When you talking to me, worry about it. I'm not doing no more. Don't worry about it. If we agreed to it, if I asked for it, if I'm paying for it, if we have made an arrangement, absolutely worry about it. Worry about me. As someone who has experienced psychological abuse, I realize how deeply ingrained don't worry about it became as a coping mechanism. Because there have been seasons of my life where I was trained to believe that when I speak up about my needs, wants, and desires, I was a burden. I know that I have personally experienced manipulation, especially emotional manipulation, gaslighting, being made to feel like my requests, my needs, my concerns were not important, were unreasonable, or were just plain annoying. And what it created in me that I took all throughout my life were these internalized feelings about my needs and emotions not necessarily being worthy of attention or care. So don't worry about it really became how I would ease an uncomfortable situation or avoid confrontation. It became the reflex. And the way this was illuminated for me in this season of my life happened one Saturday when I wanted to work on something. So I shared with you guys not too long ago, if you didn't listen to Destruction versus Deconstruction, I shared a story about someone who worked on my team telling me that I was on the path for destruction. God revealed that deconstruction is a completely different process, ma'am. And so at the time when that team member left, I just took a step back and I was like, I'm going to go through all of our Google Drive folder. I'm going to go through all of our backend systems. I'm not rushing to hire anyone as a replacement. I need to go through, put my hands on things, put my eyes on things, and see what we're working with. And so I was in my CRM and my honey called and I was just sharing like what I was doing. And he said, oh, well, let me see if I can help, or let's just jump on a Zoom. It was a Saturday morning. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, let me test drive and get back there and see if I can streamline things, because he is much more technologically gifted than I. And so we get back there. we're doing stuff. A couple hours goes by and I'm kind of like, it's Saturday. And I found myself getting a little uncomfortable. I was starting to get tense. I was very appreciative of his support, but I found myself slipping into, I don't want to feel like I'm being too much of a burden, even though he offered to support. And so maybe 2 hours went by and I said, hey, it's Saturday. I know you have the kids. You may have other things you want to do. Please don't feel obligated. And he's like, yeah, I got it. 4 hours go by and I'm like, hey, this was so good. We're making such great progress. We can definitely put a pin in it and maybe circle back on another day. And he's like, yeah, we're in a good flow though. So we're going to keep going. I'm like, well, what about the kids? He's like, the boys are playing games. They're not even worried about me. They're good. I'm like, okay. And I call myself being considerate, but the next morning, and may I say, we ended up on that Zoom for almost 10 hours. Yes, we took breaks. We ate all the things. He stayed on that Zoom. That's why when I tell y'all, the most kind, patient, supportive, encouraging, all the things partnership I have ever experienced in my life. So 10 hours and like 18 minutes go by. When we get off the Zoom, I go sit on my bed and literally cry. And I didn't even know why I was crying. The next morning when I woke up, I realized that I was crying because I was so concerned about being a nuisance again. And it was unwarranted. It was unfounded. It didn't make sense for our dynamic. But what it revealed to me is how deeply rooted that idea of not wanting people to worry about me had become. It's fine for me to be concerned and worried about everyone else. But when someone was showing genuine concern and support and encouragement of me, I didn't even know how to receive it. And for many of us who are known as the strong ones, the strong friends, when you use this language, don't worry about it over and over again, what it does is it prevents us from seeking the help or support we genuinely need. It reinforces the cycle of self-reliance out of fear of vulnerability, out of fear of being seen as weak or annoying or too much. And it stops us from getting not just the healing that we deserve, but also that deep intimacy and support for me from romantic partnership. And I'm so grateful for that day, for those 10 hours, not just because we cleaned up my entire CRM, but because it taught me that I was trying to dismiss my own needs in a relationship and in a space where that was not necessary. So that's something that I'm leaving behind because as I have practiced this with my current partner, I also have seen how it manifests in other relationships, other business relationships, other friendships, other spaces. And it's so subtle. If you would have asked me a year ago, I'm not sure that I would have thought I had a problem with this. So I'm so grateful for this season. And I'm so grateful for this space where we are all always growing and evolving together. This is why I always say, I'm not your guru. I'm just a guide. We're going up the mountain together. And I just want to be here to support you, hold your hand, give you a hug, wipe your tears, let you know that you're good, that this is normal. That's what's happening. Your vision is calling you and it's not waiting any longer. The doors to mastery and momentum are closing soon, and this is your last chance to step into the transformational coaching, curriculum, and community you need to bring this next iteration of your purpose to life. This is not the time to wait. This is the time to double down on that ignited, aligned vision God put on your heart. If you've been sitting on something big, something that's been pulling at your heart, the time to act is now. Mastery Momentum is not just another program. This is a proven blueprint for high-level performers who are ready to take their purpose and thought leadership to the next level. When you apply and get approved, you'll get access to personalized one-on-one coaching to fast-track your transformation, exclusive curriculum that I have not taught anywhere else, not even here on the podcast. You get a supportive community, a wisdom circle of like-hearted women who will challenge and cheer you on. And you get access to powerful resources, all of my signature courses, Pillar Mastery, Purpose to Platform, and Command the Stage, all included. And let's not even get into our 5-day retreat, July 2025 in Hawaii. Don't let another season pass you by. The window to apply is closing. We have a few seats left, and you won't want to miss the chance to create this next level future you deserve. Remember, your vision is not void, and your purpose is not postponed, no matter what's going on in the world right now. Apply now, and let's make this happen together. Masteryandmomentum.com has all the information. That's masteryandmomentum.com. Now, here's a third and final phrase for now that I'm leaving behind in 2024. Very subtle, promote self-sabotage. Whatever works for you. Whatever works for you. This is going back to this idea of I want to be seen as nice or agreeable. But what I learned is whatever works for you is rooted in giving power away. When we're not willing to assert our preferences, but instead defer to others out of fear or indecision or some desire to avoid conflict, whatever works for you says is, I lack agency in my own life. I let other people determine and dictate the outcomes, whether they're actually aligned with my vision or goals. And it may seem like, oh, I'm just being agreeable. I'm being accommodating. All that is fine on the surface. But in a deeper way, it is connected to abandoning your own desires because you want to compromise too easily. And compromising too easily, I believe, will never really help us create the life that we want. It'll create versions and variations of it, but it won't walk us into that full ignited, aligned vision. And I think it's important to say this as a woman who is seen as very accomplished, that I realize more and more and more as I've been on this journey these last 3 or 4 years, that yes, I've accomplished a lot. And also there is so much more that God could use me for and more that I will do, but could have done up until this point had I not adopted and adapted to so much of this language and this way of thinking, this default thinking, these behaviors. And I'm not making myself wrong by any means. This is life. We live and we learn, hopefully. We keep going, we keep growing, hopefully. But at this stage, and it's not about age, trust me. I have clients in their 50s and 60s. This is not about age, and I'm not shaming age by any means. I think Instagram, hearing people say over and over again at this big age is why I say that. But I don't weaponize our ages, our physical ages against us, because that really means nothing. I know a lot of people much older than me that's a whole nother story. Anyway, but at this stage, let me say that of my life, I'm clear and becoming more and more clear about what works for me and why. And so being reminded to stick to that at all times, to promote my own care, to get to my own vision and my own desires is really at the forefront for me. So leading with whatever works for you, whatever works for them is something I definitely plan on reducing greatly in this season. A great example of this is someone who I really admire. I love their content. I love their work. Reached out. They have a book coming out, and their team reached out to my team because they want to be on the podcast. I said, well, this is wonderful. We typically do not take pitches, but because this is someone I already follow, I love their work. I was already excited about the book, all the things. I'm like, okay, cool. And they mentioned something about coming to Atlanta and started to speak as if they assumed it would be an in-person interview. And so I was talking to my new assistant about it, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, if that works for them, cool. They're going to be here anyway. Let's go ahead and get the studio space. And then it became, well, there's a minimum to use the studio space. So now you'd have to go look for other people to interview or plan to, do it in person. And in this season of my life, I'm just really more focused on the audio piece of the podcast. I'm not really ready to go all in on YouTube. And so I'm just like, wait a minute, I had to come back to You reached out to me. I'm about to book a studio space, spend extra time, extra money, extra energy looking for other guests who can also get to Atlanta on this particular day, do this interview. When you asked me, I was like, what am I doing? And I realized how quickly I could slip into that and how subtle it is. No, this was not whatever works for you because I didn't come find you respectfully. And I do say that with the utmost respect. I love this guy, but no, uh-uh. What are we doing? And there's a great possibility that they didn't even care. His team didn't even care. He didn't care. It was just a misunderstanding. But the way that we instantly went into trying to accommodate someone else as opposed to sticking to what our plan is and what our preferences are and how we do things blew my mind. I got it together though, real quick. Maybe a few days went by, I'm not sure, maybe a week, but we did get it together. And I just share that to say that all of these things can happen so subtly. And it is on us to determine where we need to start shifting our language in order to stop self-sabotaging. What are these phrases that we have normalized, romanticized, intellectualized, and we haven't really taken any inventory, taken any heed to how it's counterproductive to what we say we actually desire? This is why being in spaces like the Institute for Redefining Wealth, like Mastering Momentum, the power of the people pillar is the language. It's the questions that you learn. It's the way that you learn to have a process for how you're processing. Those authentic alignment tools are about helping me choose words that align with our deepest desires. So something that may have taken me a year to recognize and had to become a boulder in previous seasons of my life, I can now hear it at the pebble. I can notice it and change course within a week, if not sometimes minutes, hours, a few days. Now, when you think about how that impacts your finances, how that impacts your ability to produce material financial wealth, all of this has led me to remember Dr. Benjamin Hardy's book, 10X is easier than 2X. No, I'm not going to do all the things that feel good, sound good, look good to other people. I'm going to stick to my ignited, aligned vision in this season. I'm going to, as Beyonce would, really look at all of the things that allow me to prepare with more intentionality and intensity. So no, when someone brings me something, there is no more, I guess it's okay. There is no more, don't worry about it. It's all right. I want to be agreeable. I don't want to. There is no more whatever works for you. Because my governing decisions matter. My standards matter. My desire matters. The vision that God placed on my heart matters. And it's not to say that I cannot be flexible, but out of the fear of not being seen as nice, out of the fear that people won't think I'm agreeable, under the banner of, oh, I want to be liked. So I betray myself, gaslight myself, use words to sabotage my own success. Yeah, we're not doing that anymore. We're definitely working towards not doing that anymore. I'm definitely working to hold my clients to that standard, to hold us as a community to that standard. Hey, Purpose Chaser, if you're ready to level up in 2025, you need to download the Redefining Wealth app. This is where Purpose Chasers from all over the world come together for early access to exclusive trainings, pop-up lives, powerful resources, and a like-hearted, supportive community. Get everything you need to align with your vision, stay accountable, and create lasting impact right at your fingertips. I'm so excited about everything the team and I are planning for 2025. Bi-monthly book clubs. We're talking about empowerment panels created by Purpose Chasers for Purpose Chasers with Purpose Chasers. It's going to be incredible. And if you have genius that you want to be able to share and you've been a part of this community for a while, you need to come in closer. There are people that need you. We want this to be about you, the purpose chasers, not me, Patrice Washington. I am simply here to hold space and to curate a safe, aligned, brave community. And that's what we're doing. So download the Redefining Wealth app today on your iOS or Android device. You can also go to redefiningwealth.app, and I can't wait to see you there. One thing that I'm really good at, it's ironic, but is hearing what people are not saying and hearing what they are saying, their word choice when I'm coaching. And this is why it's so imperative, if you're a coach, to continue to be coached. I'm grateful for my coaches. They sharpen my skills so that I can continue to show up as a powerful coach, because you can hear it in other people and help them correct it. But who's listening to you? Who's catching those words from you? I'm so grateful for my therapist, for my coach, my primary care coach, and the other people I've surrounded myself with, that people will help me catch my language, and that the faith pillar is so important that sometimes God, in that quiet time, allows me to reflect on language or hear it in real time and go, wait a minute, why did I just say that? What did that mean? Baby, I talk to myself all day, all day. So if you're looking to be in a space where you could be supported in that way, please know, Mastery Momentum, we're still accepting applications. So feel free, masterymomentum.com, to check that out. And then in the Institute for Redefining Wealth, we are doing our monthly authentic alignment trainings. We have Q&As, we have pillar-specific study sessions. You have access to my core programs, Pillar Mastery and Purpose to Platform. There's so much goodness there. You have a Q&A with the master coach, Marsha Ann, in this season. And then we have a full faculty, and you have access to libraries on all things personal transformation and purpose acceleration. And then any new trainings that I do in 2025, which I do have a list of them that I plan on doing, there'll probably be either free trainings in the Redefining Wealth app or paid. And no matter what, the replays will always live in the Institute. So this will be the place to come for that full experience. It's a 12-month commitment. And man, we just opened up the new version of the Institute for Redefining Wealth, and I'm super excited about it. So if you know that you are using some language that is not aligned and not supportive with what you say you want, love to be a part of how you start to shift that and catch it at the pebble. Let's not wait for the boulder. I hope this episode was a blessing to you. Tell me what you thought. Drop your takeaways in the comments. If you are listening on Spotify, I've been loving you dropping and answering the questions, so please keep doing that. And of course, in the Redefining Wealth app, let's talk about it. What are some phrases, now that you've heard me talk about mine, that you want to leave behind in 2024? That's what I want to know. What are some phrases you want to leave behind? You know that if you keep using this word, it's going to keep undermining what you say you desire. Let's be intentional about leaving that in 2024 so we can step into 2025 using language that supports us getting to the vision that is currently on our hearts. I hope this has been a blessing to you. I'm Patrice Washington. Until next week, I want you to go live your life's purpose, find fulfillment, and earn more without ever chasing money. I'll talk to you later.